Hello, friends, and welcome back to another week of Nuggets. There's so much to cover this week, so let's get right into it. The Israelites at this point have already received the 10 Commandments, and technically, it's all they need in order to function well as a society. However, life is pretty complex, and God knew that coming out of slavery, the Israelites would need more specific guidance and organization as a nation. Kind of like how the law in Canada works. Did you know that it's a pretty long-winded process? Legislation is a written law that provides rules of conduct. To become law, legislation must be approved by Parliament. Proposed legislation is introduced in Parliament in the form of a bill, which provides the basis to amend or repeal existing laws or put new ones in place. Canada's legislative process involves all three parts of Parliament: the House of Commons, the Senate, and the monarch. And if all three parts approve and vote in favor of the bill, then it becomes a new law. But it would be nearly impossible if lawmakers had to deal with every detail of all the laws. So to help with this, Parliament and provincial and territorial legislatures often pass laws to give departments or other government organizations the authority to make specific laws called regulations. And these regulations carry out the purposes of general laws or expand on them and have the force of a law. So what God was doing now with the Israelites is that he was providing the regulations for the 10 Commandments. In other words, he was expanding the original laws. Take, for example, a commandment, "Thou shalt not kill." Pretty straightforward, right? Well, no, actually. Let's say you kill someone by accident. Is it the same as killing someone intentionally and lying in wait for them to come home and attack them and they die? Well, what does it matter, you might say? Killing is killing. Well, it matters because of the sentence the person receives. So God had to decide on a regulation that helped expand that, and we find it in Exodus 21:12-14. Anyone who strikes a person with a fatal blow is to be put to death. However, if it is not done intentionally, but God lets it happen, they are to flee to a place I will designate. But if anyone schemes and kills someone deliberately, that person is to be taken from my altar and put to death. All of these civil laws breathed the spirit of the moral law. They reflected and applied the principles of the 10 Commandments. It may be hard for us to understand that these civil ordinances were based upon social customs of the day. In some points, the ordinances simply reaffirm legal practices already in effect. And we may question, well, how can slavery or concubines and corporal punishment be consistent with the character of God? Did he approve of those things? Well, let's remember that when God brought the Hebrews from the land of Egypt, God took them as they were, with the purpose of gradually making them over into what he wanted them to be, fit representatives of himself. Just like God takes you and I as we are and makes us gradually into a fit representative of himself. Thank you for studying with me. I'll see you tomorrow.